pain and torture, believe in life, sex, money, and Imus in the morning.
Hey, Don.
Do you want to make some news this morning?
Do I want to talk about Dan and Connie?
Yeah.
No. Sure, go ahead.
What do you make of all that?
I have thought for some time that there ought to be term limits for anchormen. Jennings, Brokaw, and Rather, after 6 years, ought to be taken off and replaced by somebody else.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I think probably putting Dan together with Connie was the biggest mistake in television news since ABC paired Harry Reasoner with Barbara Walters.
Oh, God, I remember that.
But it's interesting. It's fun for us here to see everybody like you enjoy people squirming so much. We all sort of get a kick out of this, a lot of giggling around here.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Good. God almighty.
Doesn't seem that long ago, I was in the headlines every day. Everybody was talking about me. But now, I can't even get arrested again. The hardest part about it all is that I'm the real victim in this case. I lost my wife, I lost my career, I lost the respect and admiration of a majority of the American people, not to mention a $200 pair of Italian loafers, 2 Isotona gloves, and a perfectly good knit cap. Since the trial, it hadn't been easy to make a living. I was unsuccessful in my previous attempts to cash in on America's voracious appetite for voyeuristic pleasure. My book and video, somehow they just didn't get it done. Then it hit me, just like Nicole used to do. Instead of trying to bring the scene of the crime to you, why not bring you to the scene of the crime? And so I am happy to announce O.J. Simpson's Scene of the Crime Resort, Theme Park, and Museum, where you can live a part of legal history. Walk around my house at Rockingham and actually feel what it must have been like to be me on the night of this horrible tragedy. Visit the Hall of DNA, where you can view bloody socks under a microscope and decide for yourself which one of those twisty little strands is mine and which comes from that Chinese guy who does my laundry. Check out those hairs they say they found in the carpet at Nicole's house. Can you honestly say they belong to me? They could be Clarence Thomas's for all you know. There are many attractions for you to experience, like the virtual courtroom. Feel what it's like to be me and sit next to a hologram of Johnny Cochran. Actually hear him whisper in your ear, "They ain't got nothing on you, brother." Feel the piercing stares of the audio animatronic Marsha Clark. Yes, your eyes aren't deceiving you. She is playing footsie under the table with that robotic Chris Darden. Like thrill rides? Try the Bronco Chase or Chicago Air Escape. Games of skill? Try your hand at the Whack-A-Wife. Or let Mark Furman call you racist names while you throw baseballs at him and attempt to dunk him into a tank filled with bogus blood samples. It's better than Disneyland. And then, after a fun-filled day the entire family can enjoy, retire to your tastefully appointed guest room right on the grounds. Have your personal assistant bring you a scrumptious drive-through hamburger dinner while you chip a bucket of balls at the all-night courtyard pitching putt. That's O.J. Simpson's Resort, Theme Park, and Museum. Call today for what for you.
Step right up, folks, and see little Egypt do a famous dance of the pyramids. She walks, she talks, she crawls on her belly like a reptile. Just 1 thin dime, 1/10 of a dollar. Step right up, folks.
Imus in the morning.
Imus in the morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment. That is all. This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule, an indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled this station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume tomorrow morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
This is the 50,000-watt clear channel voice of the Mets, Jets, Knicks, Rangers, and St. John's. The Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York. An Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Joe Tollison. I'm Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
And
Good morning, everybody. Russ Salzberg with you here on this Wednesday morning, the 3rd day of July, 1996. I am here along with my partner, Steve Summers. It is the Sweater and the Schmoozer.
Hamish and the Hauser.
718-937-6666 is your number. You are listening to Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York. Houston, Lumpy, Rutherford, whatever with the updates. And as always, you the fans out there, till a couple of weeks, the Sweater and the Schmoozer saying bye-bye, so long, and...
We'll miss you. Farewell.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
And that's one of the best aspects of sports. Young kids coming through. It's kind of a favorite scenario of mine. Uh-oh. You might say it's one of my favorite things. Oh, God. And that reminds me of a song. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. I man in a coffin with warm woolen mittens. I man's got problems when he pees it stings. These are a few of my favorite things.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
When the dawn breaks and he's breathing, then I'm feeling sad. I simply remember when his lung collapsed, and then I don't feel so bad.
Imus in the morning on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. This is Bob Wischusen, 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Mike and the Mad Dog, Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
They're talking sports, going at it as hard as they can. It's Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. Nothing can get by 'em. Turn it on and try 'em.
Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Nice to have you with us on this 3rd day of July, 1996. The Mike and the Mad Dog radio program commencing for a Wednesday in the Tri-State. Good to have you with us. Mike's still on vacation, and he'll be with us Monday at the vet. Mr. Francesa will join us Philadelphia for those 2 games of the All-Star break. Jeff Hughes and Robert W. Gubb across the way at 718-937-6666. Two-way sports talk telephone number as we chat to you.
Sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody.
Former United States Senator Eugene McCarthy on the American presidency.
Roosevelt proved you could be president forever, and Truman proved anybody could be president, and Eisenhower proved we didn't need one. And Kennedy and Johnson proved it was better not to have one. Nixon killed the presidency, and Ford embalmed it, and Jimmy Carter buried it, and Ronald was proving there's life after death. And I think Bush, you'll have to say, is an incarnation, a reincarnation of something, I don't know, or someone.
Doesn't have a point of view, knows not where he's going to. Isn't he a bit like you and me? Imus in the morning.
Dirt.
Isn't it great?
It sucks. It's just a bunch of toothless trailer park people.
Don't say that, Beavis. It's a bunch of toothless trailer park people who set the tone for the 1996 presidential race.
You mean all these losers have something to say about who gets to be president?
Well, the New Hampshire primary is the official beginning of the campaign season.
Like hunting season?
Sort of. Except Bill Graham got shot down before the season started.
What about Bob Dole?
Well, when it's it's over, I imagine he'll drive on out of here with Lamar Alexander and Steve Forbes tied to his hood.
So, like, what's the deal with all these Republican dudes walking around and, like, bothering people?
Well, they're campaigning, Beavis. Shaking hands, kissing babies.
I bet they kiss more ass than babies.
Very true, Beavis. Very true.
So if this is like a Republican deal, what are you doing up here?
Well, two reasons. First, I like to watch them all go at each other like a pack of dogs.
What's the other reason?
Well, you know, while the Republican candidates are all busy running around outside campaigning for support, their wives are back here at the hotel alone. Somebody's got to keep them company. That Elizabeth Dole makes my knees gnaw.
What's the deal with that Sabina Forbes? Is that like his wife or his mother?
Neither. She's his beard.
In today's all but ignored Democratic primary, President Clinton is unopposed, at least by anyone that most New Hampshire voters or anybody else even heard of. But
didn't you meet somebody at a hotel last night, some doctor or something?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we did. One of the minor candidates, his entire campaign apparatus was out in front of the hotel, about 4 people with a sign.
But they had for our guy. They had buttons and everything. I pledged my support with Michael and Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie, what are you doing?
I'm watching this new video of yours. It's the first time I've ever seen you naked.
I'm so bad. Are you ashamed of me?
No, I'm just jealous. You ain't got a feather on you. Do you shave or wax?
Silly Lisa Marie, don't hate me because I'm prettier than you. I'll give you a few of my female hormone pills.
Well, thanks, but no thanks. I like having a mustache, almost as much as having a penis.
You know, the editors had to do some last-minute cutting because mine was showing in the video.
Well, they use a zoom lens, did they? So they could see your pecker. What's the big deal?
I can't have all my young fans looking at my private parts.
Why? Is there a kid left you haven't already shown it to? Jesus, there's one out there who can draw it from memory.
That's just a publicity stunt. I have to get my new record back on the charts. It's dropped quicker than your father did that night in the bathroom.
Hey, don't go dissing my daddy, you pipsqueak pedophile. My daddy was, is, and always will be the king.
Yes, of course. What was I thinking?
700,000 people pay every year to tour Graceland, and every single one of them exits through the gift shop.
I'm sorry. Please don't hit me again. I almost didn't have enough makeup to cover the bruises last time.
We make more money off Daddy since he's dead than we did when he was alive. Say, that gives me an hey, Michael, why don't we go out on the Ferris wheel for a while?
Really? That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll play hide and seek. I'll go out first, and you see if you can find me.
Oh, I'll go get Bubbles.
Yeah, good. And I'll go get my socket set.
Anthony Mason smack any more hoes lately?
Yeah, anything like
in
that?
The eye? Mason was at a nightclub at about 4 o'clock in the morning the other day and has been charged with...
Again?
Yeah.
Again?
Yes. Yes.
This is another incident.
It was the same charity that he's been working with over the past several months.
Which charity is this? Helping wayward women?
The late night. In fact, I believe that is the charity.
Yeah. And what's he accused of doing now?
For punching a woman in the face.
He punched a woman? No.
The woman says that. No charges have been filed against Mace.
These people should be just arrested.
Do I feel vindicated or what?
Well, your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
He was simply defending himself, wasn't he?
That's what he was doing? 6'8", 300-pound guy?
She hit him over the head with a magazine first.
She
wouldn't let him put his beer on her head.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Gentlemen, Mike Barnacle. Good morning, Mr. Barnacle.
Hey, by the way, how's it going?
What do you mean?
Your marriage.
It's going fine.
You know, I can't wait about a year from now to see you coming down the Connecticut Turnpike in the old Rolls Royce there with a little baby on board signing back.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
You've been talking about the balanced budget. People have been talking in Washington about the balanced budget for a year and a half. Do you know what it is? I mean, have you seen anything in the Times, the Post, or the Globe about it, how it's going to affect your life? No. You know, Social Security. Everybody's talking about Social Security, what a huge issue it's going to be in 10 years. Do you know what's going to happen to it? Are we going to go bust out? Am I going to have it? You have it now, so you're getting your check.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Mega Movie Dittles, my friends. Welcome to a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program, coming to you live from the Cannes Film Festival. But Rush, you're saying, Rush, the Cannes Film Festival doesn't start until May 9th. Oh, I'm not referring to the annual event held on the French Riviera. We're here in Washington, D.C., and we're spelling con C-O-N.
Oh, I get it.
As it's a retrospective of the Bill Clinton oob, which means both the noun and verb forms of that word apply. In light of the fact that the majority of President Clinton's experiences with television, especially when it comes to testifying, I was frankly surprised to find that Bubba was such a well-respected film auteur. I was aware of the insipid Hollywood connection, the Bloodworth-Thomasons et al., but didn't have him lamped as an Orson Welles type, except, of course, in the trouser-size department. But here we have a veritable multiplex of cinema veracity and audacity. Opening the festival is a comedy about a young, idealistic Oxford student who succumbs to peer pressure and the zeitgeist of flower power by sitting out the Vietnam War in England, waiting to inhale. Immediately following will be a screening of the first part of Oliver Stone's controversial Whitewater trilogy. It's an inspirational story of a young, idealistic governor whose friend McDougal comes up with a real estate investment scam that appears too good to be true. James and the Giant Peach. Tomorrow, family values will be celebrated. No V-chip technology necessary here.
Oh, good.
Take the kiddies to see Babe, the Talking Pig. Starring Jennifer Flowers as Babe, Paula Corbin-Jones as the Talking Pig. Later in the afternoon, part 2 of the Whitewater trilogy, a murder mystery, and apparent suicide where the body inexplicably seems to change locations. How'd he get there in the park next to the cannon? Vince Foster is Dead Man Walking. Tomorrow evening, a midnight showing of the political thriller that asks the probing question, who do you round up when there's duplicity, fraud, and deception in Washington? The Clinton administration stars as the usual suspects. And finally, the third part of the trilogy, a retrospective of infidelities and deceit that ultimately led to inevitable defense witness testimony. The shoe-in for the Palme d'Or at the Con this year, Bill Clinton's autobiographical masterpiece, Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
All right, here now on the Imus of the Morning program, Rush Limbaugh, and it's still rockin' dole for me.
What's the matter with your President Clinton? Can't you tell that he feels your pain? Go ahead and buy the Democratic ticket if you want to ride a runaway train. Bill and Hillary, they ain't doing what they oughta. Can't tread or keep their heads above the white water. Everybody's talking about the new right money, but it's still Robert Dole for me. What's the matter with Lamar Alexander? I think he's just a little insincere. How about that wacky Pat Buchanan? Say goodbye to all the Jews, blacks, and queers. Steve Forbes is only out to prove to you, honey, you can buy the nomination if you got a lot of money. Everybody's talking about the old guard money, but it's still Robert Dole for me. It doesn't matter what they say in the papers, you can still count on the GOP. And there ain't no debate about the right candidate, cause Bob Dole is what this country needs, as long as it's okay with Ralph Reed. How about a more restrained first lady, one with just a little less arrogance? If Bubba could stop from dropping them down around his ankles, Hillary wouldn't have to wear the pants. Dole's behavior, well, there ain't nothing shocking. No Venmo eruptions and no knees knocking. Healthcare, welfare, what about laissez-faire? It's still Robert Dole for me. Come on, blow it for us, Lamar. Nomination, like he'll ever run again. When Bob and Bill get in an altercation, ain't a sword can beat the senator's pen. Even though he may be somewhat of a senior, at least so course we know he ain't concerned with us, and we not out, no doubt. All you others get out, it's still rubber dole for me. Everybody's talking about the old man funny, but it's still rubber dole for me.
In the morning.
If you need it.
In the morning.
All right, here now, comment and observation on headline issues of the day. I'm missing Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon. The Eagle has landed. Nixon is in the house. Imus in the morning. Well, we haven't had a chance to speak since the entire nation of Islam planted its flag in the middle of Washington, D.C., have we, Imo? Quite a stunning event. I don't know how I'd been so out of the loop, but I didn't even know they were going to hold the darn thing. I woke up, flipped on the tube, and I'm thinking, hey, when did they move the Washington Monument to Mogadishu? But then I saw Jesse Jackson and Maya Angelou and all the rest, and pretty quickly figured out what was going down, you know? And now, if I may, Dick Nixon with an ode to the poetess. Maya Angelou? No, Mariah Carey. Of course, Maya Angelou. Okay, you spoke for the black man. You voiced how he feels, and left us persuaded you ain't missed no meals. Just kidding, just kidding. Let's not get that cadre of goons that follows Minister Farrakhan around torqued off here. Well, your comments are not helping matters. Oh, I dispute that, Dono. Though dead, I feel I can be a positive force toward bridging our society's very regrettable racial divide. And that's why I've decided to throw my not inconsiderable support to a certain individual in the field of prospective presidential candidates. So, issue 2, generally speaking, or I'm polling for Colin. Colin Powell, Ibro, says the state of race relations is adding pressure on him to enter the race. I concur. What this fractured society demands at this juncture, in my view, is this man, who just may be the ultimate fusion candidate, a president who is both black and white. I've looked at him in scrupulous detail, Dono, kind of put him under the old colonoscope, so to speak, and I'm at a loss. This may be an unpopular conclusion, but we're not going to be tracing General Powell's antecedents back to Chicken George, if you get my drift. No offense intended. Oh, no. Darn it, where does my time go? All right, some quick concluding thoughts then. OJ, good to see him struggling so bravely to put all of this unpleasantness behind him, eh, Dono? I'm thinking, if he shot an 82 there in Panama City, Florida the other day, gosh, if he just didn't have that darn old arthritis, he could make the f***ing tour. Oh, Juice, you dropped your golf club, good buddy. Robert McNeil, a fond farewell to an elegant guy. There he is, solitary, forlorn figure, standing outside a PBS station, waiting for the Barnacle bus. Robin, GE, and the Archer Daniels Midland Company say, get out. I can just see Jim Lair over there going, mine, all mine. Oh, well, such is the world according to Dick today. Dick Nixon, of course, who was unceremoniously drummed out of the presidency of the United States.
They dragged you from homeland. They chained you in coffles. They huddled you, spoon fashion, in filthy hatches. They sold you to give a few gentlemen ease. They broke you in like oxen and scourged you and branded you, made your women breeders, swelled your numbers with bastards, and taught you a religion they often disgraced. And you sang, keep an inching along like a inchworm. And you sang, by and by, by and by, I'ma lay down this heavy load.
Imus in the morning.
Come on, Beavis. We'll be late for the post.
How come we have to meet him at the airport?
He's a spiritual leader, Beavis. As president, I'm obligated to welcome him to our country.
Couldn't you just send a limo to pick him up?
He's got the Pope-mobile for that.
Pope-mobile?
A bulletproof vehicle for the Pontiff's protection.
If the Pope is like God's roadie, how come he needs a bulletproof car?
There's already been an assassination attempt against him, Beavis.
Boy, somebody's really gotta want to go to hell and take a shot at the Pope.
Now, I want you to behave yourself when we get out to the runway. Don't do anything stupid.
You mean I can't yell, Jews suck, the Pope rules?
No. Now, after His Holiness exits the plane, he'll bless the crowd, then come down the steps and kiss the ground.
Isn't he coming into Newark Airport?
Yes.
In Newark, New Jersey? Don't you think he'd be better off kissing the governor?
I don't
think so, Davis.
Hey, Papa, he's wearing a dress.
You know, Davis, the Pope makes my knees knock. Coming in from the Vatican City on tour, the holy homies in town for a papal encore. He's here addressing and blessing the flock, and there's hundreds of souvenirs and they're all in stock. So if you ain't bought nothing yet, well, you know that you order. Get up on the JP, sparkling holy water. All the peddlers on the street think the Pope's dope. Pope corn soda, Pope soap on a rope. Peace and love, the pot of Jews to be wishing for men. So buy a pair of running shoes of the fishermen. Cool, shop till you drop, you don't ever have to stop. Pope tot, sugar popes with a snap, crackle, Pope pop. Let's stand and here online, wait for Pope John Paul merchandise. Let's stand and here online, wait for Pope John Paul merchandise. I don't want to bother the Holy Father, but I can see him through the crowd, and the cheering is too loud. This is bigger than Coolio Unplugged in concert, so might as well buy a button and a t-shirt. Going through the midnight vigil, gonna pull an all-nighter in my fine, genuine 10-gallon foam miter. I'm a rabid popophile, not a heathen sybarite. Got a 10 in my left and a 20 in my right. Buy a Popemobile model 124 scale. Need a rosary CD, we got 'em wholesale. You thought that Elvis was the king, but ain't nobody kiss his ring. Pope, not Coke, he the real thing. It's not fast for me, but for papacy. It's a guaranteed cottage industry. Let's stand and here online with Pope John Paul merchandise. Let's stand and here online with Pope John Paul merchandise. Let's stand and here online with Pope John Paul merchandise.
Over from the Archdiocese. Good morning, Cardinal.
What are you looking at? Good morning, God bless. Great to be out here in San Jose, Imus in the morning, sitting in the Shark Tank.
Yeah?
Next to the human eel, be Jesus. Sitting next to a man who has more wrinkles than San Jose has wetbacks, be Jesus. I tell you that.
That will be fine.
How about an Autobody Express ski mask for that Gravity Challenge pussy of yours, be Jesus? You make me sick. The Fantasy 5 numbers, Imus in the morning.
Yeah?
Fantasy 5 sounds like an all-white NBA team, I tell you that, Imus in the morning.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Speaking of football, Imus in the morning, news from the Boston Archdiocese.
Okay.
Has it that Congressman Barney Frank has put in a bid to buy the beleaguered New England Patriots?
Well, yes.
He found out they have one good tight end and 21 guys who suck, be Jesus. That's clear.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Same thing is going on. They're making as before the game. Yes, exactly. They're making $8 million a year. They're thinking about the Colt 45, buying some more jewelry.
Yep.
You know, and
Thinking about chilling out with their bitch.
Yeah, I said, no, see that.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong. Okay, my point is,
Thank you. Mike Green continues.
I said no.
It's Mr. Bounce Back tonight.
Why do we have to use that sort of language? That's my point.
I just want to get down with the athletes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so then that's what they're thinking about. Or carving some slogan in their head.
So perhaps we should ask him.
I'll start that trend.
Okay, good.
Knicks look to bounce back tonight when they face the Zoeless Hornets. Knicks and Charlotte. Hornets don't have Zoe anymore, but they still have LJ, Muggsy, Chief, and the rest. They all play at the highs. Like a dead-end kid.
Oh, man.
So, that's just one team. Muggsy and the Chief.
And now, Imus in Washington Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton.
At ease, as you were. Good morning, people. You're wondering why I've called you here.
No, we're not.
You're wondering why I've called you here.
The curiosity tears at our very soul, sir.
It is because, people, there is a crisis in our republic, operating at the highest level of government. A crisis of command and control. Private, let's look at the principles. Give me the overhead projector, please, after you launch a rifle grenade at those lights. Excellent dispersal pattern, Private. Give the man a joint. Now then, the following are the major players in our national nightmare. I'm going to flash the profiles of these individuals on the screen for exactly 0.5 seconds each. See how many you can identify. Ready? Go.
Hillary Clinton?
Good.
Bill Clinton?
Very impressive. You have just identified correctly every individual responsible for our crises of confidence, integrity, credibility, morality, legality, probity, faith, leadership, virtue, values, ethics, and the American way. Everyone else is just a lackey. The latest crisis episode, the sudden, mysterious appearance of Hillary Rodham Clinton's billing records at Hillary Rodham Clinton's White House, in Hillary Rodham Clinton's third-floor private residence quarters, in a secure room frequented by Hillary Rodham Clinton, located immediately adjacent to Hillary Rodham Clinton's personal office. Our assignment, as Special G2 military investigators, find out who deposited those papers in that room. I think, people, we can eliminate the file fairy. Although I feel certain Hillary Rodham Clinton would very much like to pin this on the file fairy, were it at all possible. Which, by the way, might explain a series of late-night phone calls to George Stephanopoulos. Think about it. As the Clintons yet again seek to deflect any responsibility for anything from themselves. From her being a truth assassin to him being a chick magnet. Our mission, capture the First Lady and torture the truth from her by tying her down and looping an audio tape of Senator Bill Bradley reading the audio version of his new book, Time Present, Time Past. You know the one. A flight, a bus ride, a hotel, a gal in a garter belt. A flight, a bus ride, a hotel, a gal in a garter belt, and so on and so forth. We will not be tying down the president himself, however, as we have high confidence he would misconstrue the gesture and say, "This is great, where are the babes?" When we do devise a proper method for forcing the truth from Mr. Clinton, we will brief you again. At the moment, we're thinking along the lines of sending him mail from the Selective Service Department and an ROTC recruiting poster. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
How about Phil Graham? Do you like him?
No.
Why?
Just don't trust him.
He reminds her too much of Steve.
You know, Bernard.
You know, your husband looks a little bit like
He
though.
does
right?
not. Oh, come on. Now you're really,
look, the
really
baby fits in the
desperate.
bowling bag.
Shut up. Your head'll fit in a bowling bag.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
And the producers of Jeopardy want Maya Angelou back as a viewer, I-Man. The show's producers telling TV Guide they'll try to recruit more African-American contestants, and they've gone to Maya Angelou for suggestions.
I would like the history of chickens for $50, Alex.
Shut up. That's just not enough. We just don't need that.
I would like drive-by killings for $200, Alex, right now.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
See the way he's so indiscreet, winking at each woman he meets. How he holds his head up high when he's got such a roving eye. He's not shy. You'd consider adultery if you'd married Miss Hillary. Cheating's not his only flaw. There are about a million more, but the worst by far, I'd say. He's a liberal and he'll never ever be any good. He's a liberal who just can't control his throbbing wood, and just because he doesn't do what right-thinking men do, that's the reason why our country's going down the drain. He's got no integrity, White House a catastrophe, cause Bubba's a liberal, do-do-do. Bubba's a liberal, do-do-do, don't you see? That Arkansas poultry king Tyson has just introduced a new line of Hillary Clinton chickens. No breasts, larger thighs, and it's packaged with a turkey. Liberals want to make us pay while they all give the world away, and Bubba's got his pants round his knees. They're knocking. He's a liberal and he's never ever been any good. He's a liberal and he claims that he's misunderstood, and just because he doesn't do what right-thinking men do, that's the reason why I'll sock it in on Robert Dole. It beats Bill and Hillary. This time vote the GOP, cause Bubba's a liberal, do-do-do. Bubba's a liberal, do-do-do, don't you see? Yes, my friends,
This is Rush Limbaugh reminding you that Bubba is nothing but a dirty, no good, low down, rotten, stinking liberal. Bubba's a liberal, not for me.
Here now on the Imus in the Morning program, a man who was the Ted Bundy of the Great White Way when he was a drama critic for the New York Times.
The serial killer of Broadway. Okay.
Frank Rich. Good morning, Mr. Rich.
Good morning.
Did you see me on the Brinkley show?
I certainly did. That fireplace was quite commanding to those of us who don't have fireplaces. I expected there to be a crawl, like, when you'd be selling, old Johnny Mathis records.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Remember back in the Tanya Harding case, in the early days, there was that torn-up note that they found?
Right.
Well, I'm convinced that those are the missing pieces of the Vincent Foster note. And that if they're all put together, we're going to find out that the Galulis are the only people who actually bought a plot at Whitewater.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
A little friend. Oh, Howard's there. Good morning, Howard. Howard Stern. Good morning, Howard.
Yeah, how you doing, Howard?
Yeah, I know.
Boy, I sure learned something during the best of Imus. That Calvin Trillin is just as thrilling the 8th time around.
Well?
Have I got a great idea for you? Listen to this. You do one of your cookie remotes from Bosnia. That'll be a hoot, huh?
Yeah.
Methuselah goes to Tuzla. Live from the Sarajevo Four Seasons. Bet you pull quite an audience there.
Well?
I mean, your show's the next best thing to one of those death camps. Besides, they got a wacky sense of humor. They're going nuts for you.
Yeah.
You know how they love all that ethnic cleansing stuff you do. I'm surprised that program gnome Chernoff hasn't already pitched this to you.
Well?
Although you might have a little trouble getting guests. Except Pat O'Brien. He'd walk through a minefield to be on your show. You know who'd really fit right in?
No.
Fred. They'd think he just busted out of one of the camps.
What happened to your voice there?
I don't know. You can even do one of those happening contest promotions.
Yeah.
Instead of giving away something expensive like a Jeep, you can get away with like a loaf of bread.
Well, before my baby dumped him, my life was a living hell. The thought of her being boned by a bleached-out infidel. My baby done to dump that bastard. My baby done dumped him, and her daddy's so happy he could die. Yeah, I know I'm already dead. But let me tell you something, son. Death just got a lot easier to take. Lisa Marie, as I'm sure you know by now, has ditched that monkey-spanking, fanny-obsessed, bleached-out, gender-bent, squeaking, freaking, mouse-nosed abnormality she had the gall to go and marry. There is a God, man. Michael Jackson, what the hell was she ever thinking about, Hoss? She don't need nothing. She's the sole heir to my money, $100 million, yet she hooks up with a flit driving a pink Cadillac on the freeway of love, throwing bonbons at Boy Scouts. How does that help the memory of the king of rock and roll, huh? Well, I mean, who's next? That thing that used to be Prince, or Julio, or Robert Reich or something? Where the hell did me and her mama go wrong? Makes you wonder, don't it? Now, you don't really suppose that they ever, ever actually, oh, my Lord, son, I can't take the thought. I wrote a little tune about it, though, and it goes like this. Well, you can shake her hand, give her a peck, even go so far as to nibble on her neck. But please stop there. It makes me sick, thinking about my baby and Michael Jackson's. Hey, while I'm on that general subject, how's that old boy doing who you voted for president? Bubba Clinton. Well, had a rough ride the past couple of weeks, hasn't he? Yeah. Just got the polls turned around for him a little bit, and then Hillary jumps up to bite him. And then that Paula Corbin Jones jumps up and bites him. I think I just committed one of them fox paws, didn't I? Yeah. What I meant to say was that Paula jumped up and bit him in the strictly figurative sense, you see. Yeah. Well, anyway, with the way Hillary's blowing his whole... Oh, damn it. With the way she's wrecking everything along with Paula, can you imagine the Clintons' bedroom these days? Cold enough to flash freeze Walt Disney, son. Steam coming out of her ears and her glaring at him, and him leaving little let's make up notes around for her with Vince Foster's 38 laying on top of him. Go, baby. I wrote a little tune about it to back on out of here on Hoss. Goes something like this. Well, they found them bills. Bubba got the chills. They're all Rose Law and the whole thing's hills. Time to fess up. Time to be a man. Time to tell McCarty to call the moving van. Yeah, one-term presidency. I guess we could call it a Madison guarantee. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's what you say each time.
Sierra is not. Samantha Ryan, straight ahead with the update, after which we return to Bern to spend a final hour with you on a gorgeous Friday. Brought to you on the Fan. The holiday. That's what's happening. This is John Benko with 2020 Sports on WFAN. The flagship station for the Imus in the Morning program, weekdays from 5:30 until 10.
Sports Radio 66.
And a good morning, everybody. Couple of minutes after 10 on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. In case you recognize the voice but don't know what the heck's going on, Joseph Anthony Aloysius McDonald Jr. in the chair. Most people just call me Jody Mack. And what I want you to do today is call me. Yours truly has been toiling part-time here for basically now past 9 years. Time flies when you're having fun. And the time has been flying by a lot of late. When they called me and asked me to work today, I said, yeah, sure, fine, I'll do it. Lisa Johnson, my producer, called me and said, what kind of guest do you want to get on? And, well, if you get some... Afternoon here on the Fan in New York. Jody Mack hanging out for another 25 minutes, and you get Easy at Coleman with Mets Extra, leading to the Mets and the Expos this afternoon. We'll take your calls right up until Eddie takes over at 718-937-6666. You get to make the call. We've touched on a lot of different sports and a lot of different teams, a lot of different guys so far in the 2 hours we've been doing it. And on a football caller on the line, Mel from...
To believe what we may have heard about the state of Montana.
In fact, Montana is a state where law and order is highly prized and is not a haven for criminals.
It is a place, lady, where people have sex with sheep. Because I've been there and done that. Don't try to run that jive by us.
Sex with a sheep?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You the I-man?
Yeah.
They don't jabber at you afterwards, you know?
Yeah, you don't have to hold them until they go to sleep.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
The only drawback is you have to walk so far to kiss them. And you end up with a nice sweater.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Fuji found the newest of the day. Imus in Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, indeed. Imus in the morning. In EGOTS. Where the heck is it now? Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and Detroit. Quite a coup, J.D. Quite a coup. The city of the insincere, the city of the living dead, and the city of the overturned flaming squad car. Great. Congratulations on 3 fine top 10 market additions to the Imus affiliates roster. Now then, do you suppose that... Oh, I nearly forgot. You're also in Riverside, San Burrito, or whatever the hell it is. Let me apologize for the omission. But if you're in L.A., who cares about Riverside? I mean, let's be candid here, I do. Anyway, as I was saying, do you suppose this vast new audience knows what they're going to get through your very fine program? Well, first of all, me, of course. And isn't it gratifying for the Dick Man to be so well represented in California? You know, I'm buried out here somewhere, Dono. Whittier, Yorba Linda, San Clemente, one of those. Hell, I'm dead. How should I know? And what difference does it make? Somebody get me Marty Scorsese, or better, Ollie Stone. I'm working on a treatment with Michael Crichton on a prequel to JFK. We're calling it RMN Jurassic Dork. We were going to call it When a Dick Was in the White House, but then realized that people would be confused as to whether we were referring to the Nixon White House or the White House as currently constituted. Any more foul balls out of that part since we all went away on vacay, Dano? Geez, forget Whitewater. The way Hillary is killing that poor goober, let's just gather the whole incredible mess under the term white water. Because the poor son of a bitch is drowning, and she's throwing him an anvil. Actually, I'm not only intimately familiar with Los Angeles and environs, but your other new markets as well. Philadelphia, of course, where I'm immortalized in bronze, you know, right at the top of the library steps. Famous figure in my boxing trunks, arms thrust to the sky in my well-known victory gesture, all of that. You've seen it, I'm certain.
That's not Richard Nixon. That's Rocky.
It's Rocky, not me?
No.
But the rippling musculature, the fierce scowl of determination.
No.
Well, how about a dead lawyer? I can certainly identify with that story, being a dead lawyer myself, you know.
Better, but still, that was Philadelphia. A tragic account of a lawyer with a terrible affliction.
Well, what am I? A tragic lawyer with phlebitis, for crying out loud. Springsteen ought to write a tune about me. Oh, anyway, speaking of that, I also have very warm feelings for Detroit. After my long association there with Berry Gordy, Motown Records, that whole scene, as I'm sure you're well aware, a most successful collaboration.
What possible collaboration did you have with Berry Gordy?
You kidding? Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Think it over.
That was the Supreme.
Exactly. The Supreme Allied Commander of the Western World, Dick Nixon. Now, you'll have to excuse me, I do. I have a rehearsal for Devil's Night, then I have to be back on the coast for a skull session with Crichton. Here's what we've got so far in our treatment. They cloned Dick Nixon from nose hair DNA, creating a monster that rampages across Foggy Bottom, breaking into apartment complexes. A little far-fetched, but it works for me, and probably Craig Livingstone. And there's a brief peek into the Dick scope for Riverside, L.A., Philly, and the Motor City, from the man who campaigned through them all, Dick Nixon, deceased former president of the United States. Very proud of his association with Imus, now spanning the continent east to west, from Donna Rice to Heidi Fleiss.
Imus in the morning.
2020 Sports. You can hear Breen and the Bean. The rest is obscene.
Swung on and line to deep right field. Miesky back to the track. And right in front of the wall, he makes the catch. And there is one away. So Darrow sent Miesky right to the wall. About a step away.
Strawberry falls short in his 96 debut. Good morning. Mike Brainwood Sports. John Sterling the call. WABC Radio. Yanks lose to the Brewers 4-1 in the Bronx. Darryl Strawberry makes his first appearance of the season. He went 0 for 4. Darryl, of course, coming back from drug use, marital woes, tax problems. Darryl said the reports of his drug use were overblown.
I'm no more of a crackhead or drug addict than you or anybody else. I smoke reefer and drink liquor.
Strawberry sounds good and he looks good, and we certainly wish him all the luck in the world.
That was Darryl Strawberry?
Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Baseball now in its all-star break, so Darryl will have some idle time to just sit around his hotel room, perhaps walk the streets of New York City for a couple of days.
I mean, Lasorda's just happy he's not with the Dodgers anymore. Thank God. Get him out of L.A.
The first managerial firing of 96 has occurred. Florida Marlins say goodbye to Renee Latch.
In the morning,
Hey, Bubba, the O.J. verdict is in.
I know, Beavis, I know.
We, the jury, find the murderer, O.J. Simmons, not guilty.
Well, legally, he's not a murderer now, Beavis. He's been acquitted by a jury of his peers.
So, like, even if he did it, he didn't do it?
In the eyes of the law.
But I thought justice was supposed to be blind.
After 8 months of hearing testimony and evidence, I guess she's also deaf.
So, like, what does all this mean?
Well, I suppose it means that the problem of racism is much bigger than any of us thought.
Oh, I was hoping it was going to mean that Cato's 15 minutes was finally over.
Well, that too, but to me it also is an indication that the system actually works, not only for the poor and downtrodden, but for the rich and powerful too.
You mean he would have gotten off if he was poor?
Not for murder. You have to be rich and powerful to get away with murder.
Hey, Bubba, you're rich and powerful.
Good point, Beavis. You think Paula Corbin Jones is at home?
Yeah. Maybe if we're lucky, Newt Gingrich will be there with her.
Maybe Colin Powell will show up. I can make it a threesome.
That's it.
O.J. running left. O.J. 5-4. Maybe more. I don't know.
And this court is adjourned.
Jeff Greenfield, maybe see this coming up. George Jones and I were talking about old Lefty here a couple weeks ago.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like Imus in the morning.
The Mariners not only lost a game to the Blue Jays 9-2, but they lost Ken Griffey Jr. to another injury. Griffey broke a bone in his right hand. He'll be out at least a few weeks. Perhaps now he can resume his Griffey for President campaign.
What a joke. Kitty couldn't tell you where the Panama Canal is. I couldn't pass the test to be a values at Sky Captain. Griffey for President. Don't insult me.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
The Palm Springs Suns are inviting fans to attend the game in the nude. The nude fans will watch the game from a tent along the left field line. The co-sponsor of this event is Tom Mulhall.
I get to throw the first pitch out.
Yeah, I want to sit in the tent thinking with this guy.
After he throws out the first ball, and no doubt fondle the next two.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Who suffering the effects of being kicked in the head by his horse, all coming up.
Walking the dog. Just a walking the dog. If you don't know how to do it, show you how to walk the dog. Come on now, come on. Imus in the morning.
Taking our next mobile fan highway patrol.
Baby, you gotta love it. Imus in the morning, 2020 sports.
There's a drive to center field. That's on its way. The Red Sox take the lead. A 3-run homer. 7-5, Boston.
Red Sox win a thriller. Good morning. Mike Brainwood Sports. Jerry Coleman to call on CBS Radio. As Boston beat Baltimore 7-5, Mo Vaught hitting two home runs.
Man, you're a fool.
But they have been a disappointment in '96. They certainly have. Manager Kevin Kennedy was asked what it feels like to be 16 games out of first place.
I wasn't aware of that. Is that right? I was not aware of that.
Kennedy bounced, brushed up on his team's record and standings during the All-Star break.
Where was it? Where were the Southern Pacific Guards? Weren't they all at Dodger Stadium? I think so, out in that area, yeah.
He is slow. I can see how slow he's suffering the after effects, and it already comes atop, just basically a moron.
Well, my brother and I worked for him for 10 years. My brother and I each worked for the Southern Pacific Railroad as freight brakemen.
Yeah,
we know.
Out of the main yard there in L.A., wherever it is. I thought it was out by Dodger Stadium. It is out in that area. Yeah.
Did that look off a boxcar?
Yeah, it is. 16 hours a day.
Big story in baseball. Streaker, by the way, has not been identified by tournament officials. However, speculation is it was Esther Lobster Newberg, the legendary literary agent.
That's why everybody threw up in the royal box.
Oh, come on here. It is 27 after the hour here on the Imus.
Threw a canvas bag.
Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. All I got, take care of me. Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. All I've got, take care of me. Imus in the morning.
My friends, sitting here atop the lily-white ivory tower of the EIB Excellence in Bombast Network, it is I, the dignitary of indignance, mossback monarch, Rush Limbaugh, demagogue as demigod. You know, as a wealthy capitalist, I have too long been accused of not being sensitive enough to those struggling Americans who depend upon government entitlements to meet the demands of their pathetic little lives. And so I decided to put myself in their shoes for a while, feel the pain of the great unwashed. I went on vacation. Nothing like sitting around doing nothing and getting a check in the mail for your trouble, eh? Never thought I'd ever say it, but Senator John Kerry actually has something there. And what vacation it was. A fat man's furlough. Republican relaxation. Drank so many frosty mugs of ice-cold draft, I almost didn't have enough energy to beat up queers. Shut up. Clarence Thomas and I went out into town one evening. 9 topless bars in 3 hours. It's so refreshing to commune with members of the female persuasion who not only don't know the meaning of the word sexual harassment, they'd be hard-pressed to spell it as well. Check this out. The Justice has a great bar gag.
yanks a curly follicle from the back of his head and places it on a beer can, then offers it to the dancer. Excuse me, miss, is this yours? You talk about laugh. But then I felt the urge to get out of the city for a while and roam the wide open spaces, where in the clean, clear, pristine open air, there are no whining liberals to complain about you lighting up a big fat stogie. Ah, the smell of burning leaves. Did a little hunting, bagged a couple spotted owls. You know, the fragmentation grenade is so effective in the wild. Certified kill, and you can clear-cut an entire protected forest in about 12 minutes. And then, back at camp, let me tell you, there's nothing like roasting an endangered species over the warm glow of a burning cross. Of course, every once in a while it gets out of hand and ends up turning into a church fire, but hey, I think that the biblical lessons of Job are character building, especially when experienced firsthand.
No.
Batteries recharged, and with a new lease on life, I can hardly wait for the next vacation. I'll be going to camp. Gonna be a counselor. New place outside Krakow. Got the T-shirt in the mail this morning, but let me tell you, it's not nearly as neat as the armband.
Bill Clinton.
Here comes Mama, now it's such a phony. Filled with liberal sanctimony. Got a subpoena and he's testified now. He's probably tossing and turning in the middle of the night, and I feel all right. I said, yeah. Mama so in, Sid, Sear. Yeah, yes, it's clear. All right, come on. Don't believe a word he say. Whitewater video testimony. Same old thing, it's all baloney. Cover for the wife and all her cronies. He can't stop now, he's such a phony, such a phony. Mama, you're just phony, phony. No. Good. Phony, phony. Yeah. All right. Come on. All right. I said yeah. Break it down now. Ooh, that Bob is phony. 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 Phony.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. And didn't inhale, and never tried it again. I experimented with marijuana, and I didn't like it.
Consume.
Long time ago,
Idiot.
I can still remember how that music used to make me smile. And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance, and maybe they'd be happy for a while. But February made me shiver with every paper I deliver. Bad news on the doorstep. I couldn't take one more step. I can't remember if I cried when I read about his widowed bride. But something touched me deep inside the day the music died.
Imus in the morning. Imus in the morning.
Here now, late headline stories we're following for you in the Imus and Washington Network Nerve Center.
I'm David Brinkley, your program guide, in a manner of speaking, steering you through the labyrinth of the day's increasingly complicated news developments, joined as always by our impediments to that process, Walter Cronkite, John Donald Imus, Rush Limbaugh, Paul Harvey, and sitting in for Helen Gurley Brown today, Cokie Roberts. Here now...
Mr. Brinkley, Miss Roberts is not going to be here.
No Cokie?
No, she's still up.
Regrettable. Too bad and unfortunate. I'd sort of had my heart set on giving Cokie a pokey.
No.
But I guess it's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
So here now, the news.
Good.
The Clinton administration has further refined its account of how confidential FBI files on a number of Republican Party figures, prominent and otherwise, wound up at the White House for what critics say was an unseemly digging expedition. Here's how the president explained the situation for reporters a short time ago.
Hang on a minute, honey. Yeah, well, the way it really happened was just a misunderstanding, you know. We were sitting around playing Scrabble, where you make them words with them little tiles, and I was working on a triple word score, and I said, boy, I wish I had the G and the O and the P and the F and the B and the I tiles, see? So I could make this here big old hairy mother word, you know. And open it, I thought I said I wanted the GOP FBI files. Can you imagine that?
Miss Daddy, you look so good.
Yeah, look at this, baby.
Meantime, the man who seeks President Clinton's job, Senator Bob Dole, is now just citizen Bob Dole. The resignation from the United States Congress after 35 years' service is an accomplished fact. The senator had a couple of melancholy reflections as he bade the majority leader's chambers farewell with their postcard perfect view overlooking official Washington, D.C. And WIW microphones were there to record the historic moment.
Now, look at that. Quite a sight. Only one view better. Right down the street looking out over the South Lawn. Bob Dole's going to get that view. Shove Lark Butt Boy right out of there. Got to make women like Bob Dole, though. Got a plan about that. Clinton's been moving toward the right, toward Bob Dole's positions. Bob Dole's going to return the favor. Got to move his way. Go to hotel, get a state trooper to find Bob Dole a young woman who can suck a tennis ball through a garden hose. Works for him, ought to work for Bob Dole. Say, where's Bob Dole's Speedo trucks? Bob Dole needs them for today's campaign stop.
Also in politics, Dick Lamb, a Democrat who served 3 terms as governor of Colorado, is gaining attention as the first possible candidate other than Ross Perot who might run for president under Perot's Reform Party banner. Lamb, flirting with the idea since receiving a warm reception from California Reform Party members, is now saying, and I quote, "If nominated, I would run. If elected, I would serve." That's assuming Perot won't be the candidate, something which is not at all clear. Here's what the Texas billionaire himself had to say about the matter.
Let's cut right through it, Larry. Put our nose down where you find the stinky and deal with it. Known Dick Lamb for years. Good fella, lousy candidate. Image is everything. And there ain't going to be no American elected to the top job what's got a name that's going to have both the words Lamb and Dick at the top of the ballot. Make people think they're voting for the North American Man Corral Critter Love Association or something. Won't work, won't happen. No, sir. Ross has got to run. Got a slogan, Larry. Vote for Perot. He knows where it's supposed to go. And you can use that for your soundbite. Just that simple. And finally, a sharply worded protest today from the senior senator of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, protesting the planned return engagement in Boston of controversial radio host Don Imus. Senator Edward M. Kennedy. Well, I think after all that has emanated from that unfortunate radio program across the years, that it would be most inappropriate to welcome this offensive undertaking back to Boston. Need we risk an embarrassment here, such as the President and First Lady were subjected to not that long ago? No. I think not. Instead of listening to Imus and his politics of division, should we not rather be bringing people together? Instead of severing the ties that bind us, should we not be building bridges to one another, spanning the gulf that did I just say bridge? Yeah. Oh, I hope you're flying up here on value jet, sucker.
Copyright 1996 Infinity Broadcasting. Check.
No.
All rights reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westward One Entertainment. Good night, Chet. This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule. An indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled this station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume tomorrow morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
Sports scores and sports news, it's WFAN 2020 Sports at the top of the hour, 20 past the hour, and 20 before the hour. That's 2020 Sports all day, every day on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
It's 10 o'clock. Good morning. This is Mike Breen.
And the butler quit on me, man. Can you believe it? Must have been my artistic temper when he couldn't take it. How come nobody wants to give me a break? I got the blues right there. Mean and low. I'm as low as the heels of my alligator shoes. You should know how it feels when you have these millionaire blues.
Get her to get any fatter? Well, his head's the size of Rhode Island. You know, when his body moves, it moves in sections. Yeah. Eileen's baby's going to be a Capricorn? Yeah. No, it's going to be a horny little baby.
Well, you know. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
You're almost marrying a baby. You know, she's an older woman. No, she's not. If she's older than 22, then I'm a black astronaut.
Imus in the Morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
To Marion Barry that watched it in D.C., he's coming up, along with the Giesenflaws.
But now, here's Bob. Well, Bob Dole says that Bill Clinton is no good. And Bob Dole says Bubba's always packing wood. Bob Dole says Bill, he got the urge to roll. While Bob Dole, he prefers to stay at home. Yet according to the opinion poll, nobody likes Bob Dole. Bob Dole, he was a hero in the war. But the draft was something Bubba did ignore. On abortion, Dole is known to drop his stance, while Bubba ain't too shy to drop his pants. Strong moral fiber, virtue and self-control. Still nobody likes Bob Dole. Well, Miss Hillary acts like she's a mite unstable. In the White House sitting round a seance table. But Bob Dole is a solid candidate. And unlike Bubba, has a wife who no one hates. But the fact remains he's so damn old. Nobody likes Bob Dole. Well, Bob Dole says cigarettes ain't bad for you. All that stuff about nicotine just isn't true. Why even Bubba may decide he shouldn't have, when Whitewater ends up sending him to jail. But even if Bill got life with no parole, nobody likes Bob Dole. All right.
My brother has these two horses he's trying to break. Yeah. Fred is in the corral with his horse, trying to get him to back up, and the horse wouldn't back up, and he reared up and kicked Fred in the head with his front hoof. Do you have any of those Buffalo polo shirts left?
I really have a little trouble thinking.
What's new? What's new, Fred? You were a problem on this program long before your horse kicked you in the head.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Mike, are you laughing?
I just had a little view of a nightmare, you know. I've been kicked in the head, there's blood all over the place, and you're taking me to the airport. You know, in that new movie Phenomenon, you know, John Travolta gets hit by a beam of light, he becomes a genius.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
In the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Listen. Imus in the morning. 2020 sports. You can hear Breen and the Bean, the rest is obscene.
That'll do it.
All-Star festivities continue in Philadelphia. Good morning, Mike Breen with Sports. Chris Verman with the call on ESPN. It's sponsored by your authorized Toyota certified dealerships. The big game, of course, tonight. So yesterday they held the Home Run Derby. And the winner, good guy Barry Bonds, who was tickled pink.
This is my highlight, man. I love it. I'll enjoy it.
Of course, Bonds couldn't have a complete day at the ballpark without taking a shot at the media.
It's kind of like a big vendetta for me because I'm like, well, okay, then, you know, you guys are wrong because if people...
Why do we have to listen to morons like Barry Bonds? I mean, God, just shut up.
He's misunderstood. Just a moron. First pitch for Bonds and his teammates tonight, 8:34 Eastern Time, and should be a dandy at Philadelphia.
Here's what's sad about this. I actually watched part of the home run competition.
So did I.
I was reduced to that. Fred is a friend of mine from Austin, Texas. He does a morning radio program down there, and he's a good old boy. He's one half of the Geezens.
Fun-loving crowd, tacky and loud. Our jukebox don't play no sad song. So don't come in here and cry in your beer, 'cause we don't care about who done who wrong. We got a $5 fine for whining. We'll tell you before you come in. If it ain't on your mind to have a good time, y'all come back to see us again. We don't really care about your clothes or your hair. This party is open to all. We like a good joke, and it's alright to smoke. There's only one rule on the wall. We got a $5 fine for whining. We'll tell you before you come in. If it ain't on your mind to have a good time, y'all come back to see us again. If it ain't on your mind to have a good time, y'all come back to see us again. We got a $5 fine for whining.
Samuel Ridden son, the Geezens Laws, from Austin, Texas. Couple good old boys. Couple friends out there. He love them. Play the record for him. Get him a hit record.
Please help me, I'm falling in love with you. Close the door to temptation. Don't let me walk through. Turn away from me, darling. I'm begging you to. Please help me, I'm falling
armband. See the way he's so indiscreet, winking at each woman he meets. How he holds his head up high when he's got such a roving eye. He's not shy. You'd consider adultery if you'd married Miss Hillary. The cheating's not his only flaw. There are about 1 million more, but the worst by far, I'd say. He's a liberal and he'll never ever be any good. He's a liberal who just can't control his throbbing wood, and just because he doesn't do what right-thinking men do, that's the reason why our country's going down the drain. He's got no integrity, White House a catastrophe, cause Bubba's a liberal do-do-do, Bubba's a liberal do-do-do, don't you see? That Arkansas poultry king Tyson has just introduced a new line of Hillary Clinton chickens. No breasts, larger thighs, and it's packaged with a turkey. Liberals want to make us pay while they all give the world away, and Bubba's got his pants round his knees. They're knocking. He's a liberal and he's never ever been any good. He's a liberal and he claims that he's misunderstood, and just because he doesn't do what right-thinking men do, that's the reason why I'll sock it in on Robert Dole. Impeach Bill and Hillary. This time vote the GOP, cause Bubba's a liberal do-do-do. Bubba's a liberal do-do-do, don't you see? Yes, my friends, this is Rush Limbaugh reminding you that Bubba is nothing but a dirty, no-good, low-down, rotten, stinking liberal. Bubba's a liberal, not for me.
How about Phil Graham? Do you like him?
No.
Why?
Just don't trust him.
He reminds her too much of Steve.
You know, Bernard.
You know, your husband looks a little bit like
He
Phil.
does
Yeah,
not. Oh, come on. Now you're really,
look, the
really
baby fits in the bowling bag.
Shut up. Your head'll fit in a bowling bag.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
And the producers of Jeopardy want Maya Angelou back as a viewer, I-Man. The show's producers telling TV Guide they'll try to recruit more African-American contestants, and they've gone to Maya Angelou for suggestions.
I would like the history of chickens for $50, Alex.
Shut up. That's just not enough. We just don't need that.
I would like drive-by killings for $200, Alex, right now.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right.
All right.
Into my eyes when I begin to realize I cried so much since you've been gone. I guess I'll drown in
Imus in the morning.
This is the Imus in the Morning program. It's 9 o'clock, WFAN New York and Infinity Broadcasting Station. Time for Imus in the Morning News.
Got off this morning and not even go to another station.
Yeah, well, that's
And,
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's,
Do you think it's worse than Howard Stern?
well, it's pretty bad. I don't make a comparison. I'm just talking about what I'm hearing on KLAC.
Yes, ma'am.
I will not draw a comparison.
And you're talking about the what program now?
The Imus.
The Imus program?
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday I turned this first yesterday, and I thought something was on the station. I thought, well, it's going to go. They're going to only it's a short little play, and when I hear this till 10 o'clock, I have no idea how anybody. And also calling into your lines and busy, and then it rang 65 times. I was persistent.
I'm sorry, Phil.
So people aren't getting through to even tell you their complaints, and I'm sure they're hanging up on their cellulars because I was going to call on the cellular, and I called it the busy, and I said, nope, wait till I get to work.
Yes, ma'am.
It's no way to start a morning off.
No,
I'm sorry.
I agree.
I am sorry.
Well, here's what happened. We, this guy, he's from New York, you know.
Yeah, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, he's actually, he sent us a tape. And on the tape, he sounded great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had, he was talking about how he loved Jesus.
Oh.
And, you know, and he sounded like, and he was talking about, he had funny stuff on the tape.
Oh, yeah, humorous, huh?
Very humorous.
Smut. It's extra smut.
I understand. Well, he didn't put that on a tape, see?
Oh, yeah.
He sends us this tape.
Oh, goodness.
And so we thought...
What else can you go by? It's
well,
great.
of course
There's
not.
videos,
And
you know. That's the era.
Absolutely.
And incidentally, I'm almost 60, so I'm not a...
Well, you
I'm
sound
not
like
someone...
you sound like a charming woman.
Oh, thank you.
But,
as I said, I'm a very tolerant person. And I'll tell you, it's the first time I've turned...
Let me just say this.
First time I've turned the station off.
You sound like an attractive woman, too.
Well, I've been told that.
I bet you have.
But so
what are you wearing now?
No, well, that doesn't make a difference, does it?
Well, might. You never know.
Neutral beige.
What is your name?
Adele Gordon.
Well, you sound like a charming woman.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry you feel that way about Mr. Imus.
Well.
By the way.
Yes.
This is Mr. Imus.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, where's your tape? Are you serious?
Yeah, I am.
You have smut on the air.
Well, yeah, but it's not all smut.
Huh?
A little smut.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm in my car from 5:15 to 5:45.
I'll do better. I promise you.
This morning was something else.
Well, give me another chance.
I gave you a chance yesterday.
Well, give me a chance tomorrow.
Yesterday to go off.
One more chance.
I gave you a chance to go off yesterday.
Well, I'm not going off. How about tomorrow?
Well.
Give me one more chance.
Oh, yes. No, I just don't mention my name.
I won't mention your name. She'll tell me what you're wearing. I'll see you later. It's 8 minutes after the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program, and it's time now for the national news. And with all that, she did sound like a charming woman, didn't she?
She really did. She sounded lovely.
Yeah, she's out of our demographic anyway. So they don't care what she listens to.
Screw her.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Who cares?
And don't come back. And let me hear that radio go click.
Call Dr. Cook fork in.
Oh, no. Now that's too far.
Now say you're sorry. I'm sorry, but I mean, I don't get
She sounded fine.
She's fine, but...
Don't put your teeth in.
First of all, you shouldn't be listening to this program anyway. Of course it's smutty. You know? I just wanted to tell you, we're soliciting tapes. We need your recommendation.
Oh, you didn't do that, did you?
We're still going to use Minko. I explained this to Minko.
Right.
But we're just looking for...
So he's aware of all this. So you've heard him.
So
aware of it. He did this on the air yesterday.
What am I supposed to do? Go
sitting there.
What would you like me to do? Go behind his back?
You could have been a little more subtle, I think.
That's okay, Iman. That's okay. If your radio light sucks in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
Good morning, Mank.
Good morning,
Manko, I called to apologize for springing this thing on you yesterday about soliciting these tapes. I realized it was insensitive of me.
I understand.
Oh.
Did you catch San Jose in the first half of that ball game with Kentucky yesterday?
Now, does Minko sound upset to you?
Trying to deflect the anger.
It's obvious that
That's what men do. They talk sports when they're hurt emotionally.
That's what men do. They talk sports when they're hurting? Yeah. You're a homo, but
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Nook 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Baby, you gotta love it. Imus in the Morning, 2020 Sports.
We come here to have fun, but we also come here to win.
Tough talk from the American League manager. Good morning. Mike Brain with sports. Baseball's brightest stars gathering in the city of brotherly love for the Midsummer Classic in the premier event of America's pastime. God. Mike Hargrove, the manager of the Indians, will pilot the AL. Bobby Cox of the Braves, the NL. Of course, it's the All-Star game. Perennial All-Star Cal Ripken Jr. says it's always an enjoyable night.
So it's just, old fun at the old ballpark.
Ripken will start at shortstop for the American League.
Which network is this on?
NBC.
NBC. Well, of course. Of course it's on NBC.
Yeah.
It's not on CBS.
Yeah, it's on CBS.
Yeah. Of course it's on NBC. Well, I wouldn't even have to ask.
Play-by-play, Pat O'Brien.
First pitch will be 8:30 Russo.
Good time. Who's going to call the game?
Bob Costas.
Oh, good. Okay, I love Costas.
There you go.
Lupica actually turned me around on Costas.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I was midgets stick together.
I didn't dislike Bob Costas. There were some things about Bob Costas that I didn't like, and Lupica pointed out to me that things that bothered the I-Man, that I was judging Mr. Costas harshly. And so I now agree with Mr. Lupica, and I am now a fan of Mr. Costas.
Very well.
Good. Been turned around on that. Very good.
First pitch, 8:34 Eastern Time.
So I've been invited to appear on the Tonight Show. But whoa, here's a test you can conduct. Now, as you know, I like David Letterman, I mean, I just have to confess. I made that clear. But I don't dislike Jay Leno. But I watch the Letterman show and the Leno show with the sound off.
You get a lot out of it, or...
No, you don't get it. I'll tell you what you get out of it.
What do you get out of it? Doesn't matter, he's deaf.
Leno is easier to take.
He thinks the sound is off.
Yeah, right.
How can you tell? That's how I watch Jay watch.
I'm just telling you, try it. You'll find that Leno comes across, he's, for lack of a better phrase,
yeah.
Now
Leno's my man.
First of all, I don't need to be on any of these shows.
Of course not.
I'm not that punk Howard Stern who has to go on everything. By the way, I walked in the kitchen last evening, and Entertainment Tonight was on the television.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Sound
And
down?
there's a clip of Howard Stern doing his movie.
Yeah.
And he's made up, and he's got like a permanent. He looks like that woman who's married to Danny DeVito. What's her name? Rhea Perlman?
Yes. Janet Reno?
He looks like Janet Reno. Howard Stern.
Just hit the clapper. Turn it off.
So I have no interest in being on any of these television shows.
So this is just an observation.
This is just an observation.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, and I begged Letterman to stop making faces and all of these manic gestures because it's annoying. He's 50 years old. It's time to stop doing that. He's a funny guy.
Used to be.
He's still funny. He doesn't have to do that. If making faces and all of those gestures worked, Soupy Sales would still have a television program. Well, there's a reason Soupy's not happening.
Bang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my only observation is, is watching Leno with the sound off.
It's just a physical thing.
It's a physical thing.
Yeah, okay. He should have a Pulitzer Prize, huh, I mean?
No, but
How predictable is this?
I'm not going to go on the Tonight Show.
I understand that.
I've been invited to appear on the Tonight Show. I have an open invitation to appear on the Tonight Show. There's no reason for me to appear on the Tonight Show.
He wants to be one of the dancing Edos.
until one of my books comes out. The first book will be the photography book Fred and I are doing of the Southwest. And that'll be out in about a year, I guess. So maybe I'll go on that. But I mean, that's my only observation. And I think Letterman, that he should get close to his band, or whatever it's called now. This is Paul and Anton and a bunch of them boys with Delbert McClin.
When you said goodbye, ain't that a shame? My chills feel like rain. Ain't that a shame? You're the one to blame. Imus in the morning.
Oh. By populist H. Ross Perot.
Got a new survey, Larry. Want you to take a look at it. About who's the most likely to get blown away by some irate, disgruntled, seething lunatic in the workplace. Can you see this, Larry?
It's Imus, not Larry.
Can you see this, Amos? Pie chart. I call it the Perot Epidemic of Violence Evaluation Display, or PEV for short. Says here taxi cab drivers have the greatest risk of losing their lives. Then come folks like gas station attendants and clerks at grocery stores and liquor stores. I'm adding a new category, though, that the federal government overlooked. Radio talk show hosts who go on the air in Los Angeles, Riverside, Philly, and Detroit with the kind of show you put on Monday. Torture, Amos. Pure, unmitigated torture. Opened her up with Pat O'Brien, that aging minimum wage surf goop who you had on trying to get some kind of Southern California relevance. Just pathetic. Pitiful. He makes your brother sound like Mort Saul. Then you had Tim Russert from Meet the Press, who'll go on anything, talking in riddles about Bob Dole and the Electoral College smoking cigarettes. No one could have figured it out. And as if that wasn't enough to start serial suicides, you put Jeff Greenfield on, talking about the exact same stuff Russert had sideways and backwards. Then that sports writer boy who hit Robert Reich about belly button high, Mike Lupica, who nobody's heard of west of the Empire State Building. And you top it off with your brother, who's just got mule kicked in the noggin by a 1,200-pound horse. Here's what I want to know about Fred Imus getting kicked in the head by a horse. How could you tell? But that's the lineup you went with, debuting in some of the biggest media markets anywhere. Now we know why Mel Carmazon sold Infinity. He found a sucker. Can you imagine people tuning in for what they've been used to and hearing this? It's just sad. Especially those poor old folks who've been listening to their oldies on KLAC in Los Angeles. I bet they got militia coming here right now to take you out, Amos, saying, where's our Ackerbill and Herb Alpert and Zamfir blowing that skin flute?
Pan flute. Zamfir blows a pan flute.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You ever seen Zamfir? You might revise your thinking. Anyway, I gotta go. That nutcase Dick Lamb is insisting on being my Reform Party's presidential nominee. So you can see that I've got my own crisis.
Yeah.
Jesus, first Admiral Stockdale and now Dick Lamb. I just can't win, Amos, and neither can you if you can't do better than you did on Monday. One more show like that, and you know that scene in Independence Day where they blow the White House into cottage cheese?
Yeah.
Well, that's your studio the next time you let Mike Barnacle tell a bar joke. Of course, what other kind of joke could Barnacle tell, now that I think about it? Anyway, let me close her out here with a soundbite for you. Do something for your country that shows that you care. Get Lamb off my ticket and Amos off the air. Unhappy occasion that it was. Much obliged for having me on your crummy show.
I am Wink Martindale, and this is KLAC in Los Angeles. Coming up, Tony Bennett, Frank Sinatra, Vic Damone, Mel Torme, Stephen Eady. But first, here's Kinky Friedman and the Texas Jew Boys.
Well, a redneck nerd in a bowling shirt was a guzzling Lone Star beer, talking religion and politics for all the world to hear. They ought to send you back to Russo, boy, or New York City one. You just want to doodle a Christian girl and you kill God's only son. I said, has it occurred to you, you nerd, that that's not very nice? We Jews believe it was Santa Claus that killed Jesus Christ. You know, you don't look Jewish, he said, near as I could figure. I had you lamped for a slightly anemic, well-dressed country nigger. Now they ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. They don't turn the other cheek the way they done before. He started into shouting and spitting on the floor. Lord, they ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. He says, I ain't a racist, but Aristotle Onassis is one Greek we don't need. And them niggers, Jews, and Sigma News, all they have to do is read. And wops and nicks and slopes and spicks and spooks are on my list. And there's one little heat from the heart of Texas. Is there anyone I missed? Well, I hits him with everything I had right square between the eyes. I says, I'm gonna get you, you son of a bitch. You spouting that pack of lies. If there's one thing I can't abide, it's an ethnocentric racist. Now you take back that thing you said about Aristotle Onassis. And all in making Jews like Jesus anymore. We don't turn the other cheek the way we done before. You can hear that honky holler as he hit that hardwood floor. Lord, they sure ain't making Jews like Jesus anymore. All right.
Jew Boys. Here's I Believe Now, Christopher Guest.
Used to be a rock and roll junkie, living on the beach in the sand like a clam. But now I'm kind of funky, whoa, yes I am. I'm your methadone maintenance man.
the Dawn Maiden's band, yeah. La 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 la. One of these days I'm gonna split this scene. Won't need no dope and no soap. I'll be Mr. Clean.
Imus in the morning.
Listen, the geezer's logs. Not too many years ago, when dreams weren't coming true, I'd reach for inspiration. Sometimes it would be you. I'd hear you on the radio. I sure didn't like your sound. It's good to know there's still a few old country boys around.
Imus in the morning.
Beavis and Bob Dole. Excuse me, are you Beavis?
Maybe. Is that a pen in your hand, or are you just happy to see me?
Bob Dole. Bob Dole's running for president. Bob Dole wants your vote.
Cool handshake.
Bob Dole needs to asseverate his message to the youth of America.
You said ass.
Bob Dole's not skewing as well with younger voters and women as Bob Dole should. Bob Dole needs Beavis to help him be cool.
Beavis wants Bob Dole to kiss his butt.
Bob Dole's willing to go grunge and move to Seattle.
You don't want to go to Seattle? That little nerdy dwarf dude Michael Kinsley just moved there.
Bob Dole hates liberals, especially little four-eyed weasel commies like Kinsley.
Maybe it's the way you dress.
Yeah, well, Bob Dole's going casual now.
But green blazers and penny loafers don't make you look cool. They make you look like some old dude at a golf dinner.
Well, Beavis, President Clinton is ahead of Bob Dole in the opinion polls. That's an untenable position that Bob Dole needs to do something about.
Maybe we should start with the way you talk.
All right, how about this? President Clinton sucks.
That's better.
Yeah, and Bob Dole's going to stick Bill Clinton's cat in the microwave.
Yeah, cool.
Bill Clinton is an ass bunch. Bob Dole rules.
I think you got it.
Bob Dole's going to go into a hotel room now and show some hot babe his underwear.
Better take your truss off first.
Imus. Copyright 1996, Infinity Broadcasting. Did you ever notice this? All rights reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment. This concludes the entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule, an indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled this station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume tomorrow morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
For sports scores and sports news, it's WFAN 2020 Sports at the top of the hour, 20 past the hour, and 20 before the hour. That's 2020 Sports all day, every day on the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
It's 10 o'clock. Good morning. This is Mike Breen. The top.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Motel 6.
I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you about my town. I'm going to tell you a big bad story, baby. I talk about my town. Yeah, down by the river. Down by the banks of the river Charles. That's what's happening, baby. That's where you'll find Imus in the morning.
Imus in the Morning, 2020 Sports. 2 outs here in the ninth. Ashley went out away from their third straight win. Excuse me. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to right. Hopefully this will do it. Sheffield's under it, and he makes the catch. This game mercifully ends. National League, a 6-0 win. And another All-Star Classic. Boy, does this game suck.
Baseball's off, so let's wow
home in Philadelphia. Good morning, Mike Brand with sports. Brad Balls with the call on the CBS Radio Network. National dominates American 6-0. American League second baseman Roberto Alomar took the blanking well.
We have to, just say, you guys pitch a great game, and we can do nothing about it. You're not going to hit every day, and it seemed like we're killing hit today. We hit some balls, but they catch all the balls that we hit. So we tipped the hat against them, and they won. And that's the bottom line.
Just that sombrero. Highlight of the evening.
Here's the thing. Well, he pretty much summed it up perfectly.
He has the essence of the event.
Yeah, right. Just hit the ball and they caught him.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not going to work out if that happens.
Highlight of the evening, Cal Ripken Jr. breaking his nose in the team's photo session. One of his teammates lost his balance, swung his arm back, and whacked him right in the beak. The player was White Sox reliever Roberto Hernandez, who described what happened.
I hit him in the nose.
That's it. Ripken still played. The insecure shortstop still trying to prove a point by playing every single game. Trade talk in the NBA. Charles.
Missing ball coming up. Start here now with observation and comment on headline issues of the day. From the hood, Imus in Washington, Snoop, Doggy Dogg.
Yo, Snoop in the house. Just got back from waiting online for 3 hours to see the Fresh Prince fight aliens from another planet. When I could have saved some time and cash money watching them boys from immigration chase dishwashers out the kitchen at Denny's. While on a campaign trail, Bob Dole being chased by a 6-foot cigarette. And he ain't hallucinating neither. Unfortunately, the First Lady is. See, it seems that the reason for her success as an investor, making all them dead presidents, may be due to the fact that she's been talking to their dead wives. I see. Yeah, prepare to be amused while I peruse the news. ID4 is a box office smash. United States unite to kick some alien ass. But if we could just all make them illegals go away, that's what I would call a real Independence Day. What's my name? Dogg. Yo, como me llamo? Bob Dole being dogged on the campaign trail. Got a walking cigarette, butt man on his tail. But when Clinton's on the stump, will there be an ingenue? Cause we all know that Bubba's a butt man too. What's my name? Dog. And what's your name, Miss Lady? Yeah, you ain't no dog. You make my knees knock. What would new book say? Hillary come to the band upon the advice of Eleanor Roosevelt, her own psychic friend. But if a Whitewater helps, she looking for a spirit guide. Why don't she ask Ben Foster to come out and give his side? Yo, let me get this Ouija board cracking here. Calling Vince Foster. Calling Vince Foster. Yo, Vincent, my name. Let me ask you something. What is the deal with this girl? Is she for real or what?
Happy birthday today to David Brinkley. I love this man, don't you? Yeah. Mr. Brinkley is 76 today. Still got that fastball.
Former Senator Barry Goldwater, San Francisco, 1964.
No, I don't.
Imus in the morning, flashback.
All right, here now, Imus in Washington's senior military affairs advisor, the late General George S. Patton.
At ease. Reluctant as I am to address matters of national politics, when those issues affect us and our beloved military-industrial complex, as any good soldier, I must adjust. We are closing the first 100 days of the Newt Gingrich-driven GOP-controlled Congress. In large part, the contract with America has passed Speaker Gingrich's chamber. The question we must ask ourselves at this juncture, who cares? Has Speaker Gingrich's endless partisan screaming match made any difference in your lives? The answer is no. Your job is no better, nor are your incomes, your interest rates, your nation's trade imbalance or budget deficits, nothing. At the risk of insubordination, thank you, you tomato can head Georgia cracker. So, having failed to appreciably change anything for the better, the tactic now becomes one of diversion, distraction, and avoidance. Revisit the issue of gays in the military. Mr. Gingrich is endorsing a return to a total ban on declared homosexuals in uniform, such as you there, you, and you. As infrequently as I agree with our current commander-in-chief, the policy he advanced of don't ask, don't tell allowing homosexuals to serve but keep their behavior private is the correct position. And I am confident we'll survive Mr. Gingrich's assault. Now, I know confusion remains over don't ask, don't tell. I would like to clarify a few things, if I may. I have set up here, as you can see, a brief operational demonstration to assist you in making at times delicate behavioral decisions. Private, hand me that 9mm automatic, that dildo, and that footwear, if you would, please. Thank you. Can everybody see these? Very well. Now then, as you are well aware, people, soldiers often carry items of a personal nature stowed away in their socks. Now give me your undivided attention. Placing this handgun in this item of footwear, then, we now have an example of accepted behavior, as this is, shall we say it together, a Glock in a sock. But replacing the handgun with this dildo device, we now show unacceptable behavior, as we have a in a sock, which could be construed as a prohibited homosexual identifier statement, and one that in the close confines of a barracks might force the unfortunate question, is that a Glock in your sock, or are you just glad to see me? I need not tell you people that any reply to that question could have a corrosive effect on discipline and order. Further, if in the middle of the night you should be ordered to fall out in skivvies for an IG inspection, and the soldier next to you hits the deck in a diaper and bullet bra, don't ask. If you're the soldier wearing the diaper and bullet bra, don't tell. Your status is clear enough. Let's review. Current policy dictates no grope for the soap, no funky in the bunkie, flies and lips zipped. And don't be too startled if the fat guy in the diaper turns out to be the Speaker of the House, attempting to negate the damaging political effects of having four-flushed his way around the requirements of the Selective Service Administration. Oh, yeah. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Saturday night, July 13th, the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the Honorable Edward Moore Kennedy.
Good morning. I've purchased this time today on the nationwide Imus in the Morning program to thank Don Imus and you, my constituents in my native Massachusetts and across this great land as well, for helping me complete my mission of political renewal. Yes, Ted Kennedy is back, and he has none other than the vaunted Washington Post newspaper as documentation of that fact. May I refer you to the Post's July 9th edition, the style section, which I am profiled at length and declared to be, and I quote, still formidable, more perhaps than ever, an immutable force of nature, America's senior liberal, the minority party's most visible strategist, bedeviling the Republican majority. High praise indeed, and most warranted, in my view. Yeah. The list of people whom I would like to thank for assisting my resurrection is long. My wife, Victoria Veggie. Well, whatever, I'll make a note of that. But certainly also at the top of my list of thank yous, the host of this radio program, whom I just mentioned, Don Imus. Please indulge me then in a personal note of gratitude. Don, thanks for all your help. Ever since you and I reached an accommodation not so long ago and agreed to be friendly adversaries, my political resuscitation has intensified dramatically. Proof yet again of the value of the politics of cooperation. Yeah. I've been able to work with you and benefit greatly, much as I've been able to work with another unlikely ally, my colleague, Senator Nancy Kassebaum, co-author of the Kennedy-Kassebaum Health Insurance Bill. In fact, you remind me a great deal of Senator Kassebaum. Pardon me? In fact, you look a great deal like Senator Kassebaum. Just a mild jest, man, in keeping with your program and your frequent jest targeting me. Sure. I can take it, and I know you can too. Yeah. As I once again then realize a great personal achievement, may I take this opportunity to recognize the significant strides you have made and your metamorphosis from dry heaving, falling down wino to celebrated national molder of thought and policy. Further, may I congratulate you on your new affiliations in Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, Philadelphia, and Detroit. And so, let the word go forth from this time and place. Ask not what we lost as adversaries. Ask rather what we have gained as colleagues. Two luminaries on the crest of a new wave of approval, rowing together shoulder to shoulder, rescued from the dark waters of doubt. I thank you. I salute you, man. Yes, Ted Kennedy feels absolutely buoyed, ebullient.
Buoyed, Senator, like floating?
Well, yes, that's exactly it. I'm as though I were floating. you son of a bitch. Delta, row 37. Book it, you bastard. Imus in the morning. 2020 sports. You can hear Breen and the Bean. The rest is obscene.
Here's the pitch. Fly ball, deep right field. Sheffield under it, and he makes the catch, and the National League wins. The National League wins. 6-0 victory for the senior circuit. What a game! What a game!
The Midsummer Classic in Philadelphia. Good morning. Mike Breen with sports. Vin Scully with the call on CBS Radio. National League beating American League 6-0. After that,
Time out.
MVP.
Did you hear Bob Costas last night, by the way?
Sure did. He was terrific.
No. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
So I'd like you to have a problem with it.
Well, stick to baseball. I mean, he tries to be a little too cute. He's not Vince Scully, speaking of Vince Scully.
What in particular?
Well, I didn't. Some comment about getting a notary republic to...
We don't need that.
We don't need those comments.
The game.
Just stick to the game.
Yeah, that's all.
You're not Jay Leno.
I appreciate that advice.
It's not Jay Leno, and we don't need those observations.
MVP of the game
was annoying, wasn't it?
No, right. Call the play-by-play.
Absolutely.
Ruined it for me.
Did you well up when Ozzie Smith came out?
It was a touching moment. As a matter
big
of fact.
St. Louis Cardinal fan.
Yeah.
Who cares? Millionaire.
Ozzie Smith looks like Grady on Sanford and Son.
And by now, yes, he does.
Last All-Star.
I got it.
I mean, not happening.
MVP of the game was Dodger catcher Mike Piazza. He homered, doubled, had 2 RBIs. Piazza was asked if it was the biggest thrill of his career.
Yeah.
While Piazza was MVP, the Mets' Lance Johnson had a great game. 3 hits, runs scored, stolen base, couple of terrific catches. Lance's manager, Dallas Green, was very proud of his player.
He's showing us more balls than about half of them.
Dallas always with a kind word.
Come on. Have another wrangle, you old fool. God, get out.
There was one frightening incident. Cal Ripken Jr. broke his nose during the team photo shoot. Teammate accidentally hit him after losing his balance. Ripken asked how it felt afterwards. Of course, Ripken had to play despite that injury, too insecure to take a rest and sit one out, as Cal continues to try and prove some kind of point.
Well, it was the All-Star game.
Who cares? He was hurt.
Who cares is right.
Sit down once in a while.
Very good point, yeah.
And goodbye once again to Ozzie Smith, as mentioned. Final All-Star appearance. He's retiring after the season. Ozzie giving an emotional goodbye to his All-Star teammate.
I just want to remember me. How much I love him, man.
The Wizard of Oz.
Jesus God, I mean, you are a disgraceful human being.
Pathetic.
You really are. I mean, you're beneath contempt even.
What are you talking about? In boxing, they held a weigh-in for tomorrow night's heavyweight fight at the Garden. Former champ, actually still the real champ, Riddick Bowe, who tipped the scales at a beefy 252.
And then claimed the scales were off. Did you see that?
Meanwhile, the challenger, Andrew Galata, a very muscular